So hey y'all, I'm here. We're back discussing my book Full Circle, which is very relevant, still relevant, as we all know, as the whole entire world tunes into the Cassie and Diddy trial, as it's being called. Um, I think the last video I posted was called "Why Now," or it could have been the first time, meaning the first time your abuser put his hands on you and what you did. Either way, the "Why Now" is a question for me that irks my nerves. And so, not too much on this case because, my heart goes out to Cassie. And, before she's a celebrity, she's a human. But my main thing is that, girls like me, girls like you, girls like your sister, your aunt, your cousin, we don't get all this coverage, and we don't get all this help, and we don't get all this assistance because we're not attached to a celebrity, or we're not a celebrity. So, but my heart goes out to her because everything that I'm hearing that she's experienced, whoo, baby, unfathomable, but not impossible. And a lot of people are saying she stayed because of money. She stayed because of this. Baby, I promise you. The ignorance in the comments. I have to stay off social media, and I'm sure a lot of women that have been in abusive relationships feel the same way because the things that people are saying are just so god awful ridiculous. But back to the question of why now. Well, the comments on social media, imagine we're in this small little world, right? Me, you, us regular folks. We're in this small little world and we go through this terrible, terrible, terrible thing, right? And we're embarrassed. We're ashamed. We don't know what to do. People are talking about us. People on the block talking about us. Our families talking about us, But imagine a whole entire world being in your business. Imagine the shame you feel. Imagine having to keep this a secret because you will have millions and billions of people like, oh no, you did. Just imagine. Imagine how you felt when it was just your little circle that knew and how terrible you felt. So again, my heart goes out to her. And why now stems from trust. So that's what I want to talk about today. Trust. So pick up the book Full Circle. It's on buyayanaellis.com, and it is also available on Amazon. So of course, for those of you who have never listened to my podcast or don't know anything about me, shout out to all two of y'all that listen to me. But for the rest of you, I re-released one of my bestsellers, Full Circle, because it is a story about domestic violence, and it is a story about when I experienced domestic violence, unfortunately, at a very young age over a course of 4 years, right? And I really just touch on just the mental abuse, the mental aspect of it, the emotional aspect of it. Listen, in this book and in my real life and in my situation, yes, I was physically abused, I was sexually abused, I was verbally abused, I was emotionally abused, I was mentally abused, and I was financially abused because my abuser did have a couple of dollars. And it was said about me that she only staying because that nigga got money. It was a terrible thing that I had to hear, that someone that I love dearly and someone that knows me well enough to know that shit don't mean nothing to me to say about me. So, and my little ex back in the day, may he rest in peace because he got murdered. But, he didn't have not even a fraction of what Diddy had. But for back then in the 90s, yeah, he was handling business. So, it's just a terrible thing for people to tie your trauma and your pain to money. And to say you literally laid down and allowed somebody to dog you, kick you in your head, almost kill you a million times, fuck up your mental, take everything from you, your dignity. You lose friends, you lose family, you lose yourself for a couple of dollars? For the lifestyle? There is no lifestyle when you're being abused. There is absolutely no lifestyle. I couldn't tell you. The girls that wanted him back in the day and all of that, girls have him. Please come get him. But no, he didn't want that. He wanted me because he wanted to control me because I was in a vulnerable state when he met me. Abusers know who they're going to abuse. He smelled something in me. He smelled vulnerability. He sensed loneliness. He sensed detachment from my family, all these things that were reality. And he said, oh, she perfect. She's the perfect victim. Once I get her in my good graces and get her to trust me and get her to a point and in a place in her life where I'm all she got or I'm all she feel like she has, it's on. And that's exactly what happened. So now imagine a man with billions of dollars and influence across the world. You can't go nowhere. A bodyguard is following you. You think he ain't have investigators and all types of people following that girl everywhere she went? You think? So I can't even imagine the exhaustion, the mental exhaustion that she faced trying to escape. Not to mention you're on drugs, you're on alcohol, your body's beat down. He broke her. He broke her. You get to a point where I don't even want to fight. I'm not even trying to leave no more. I'm going to stay and try to make the best of this hell that I'm in. That is what she did. And I'm sorry to the people that's victim blaming that she had to make the best out of a situation with a billionaire. I'm sorry that she had to make the best out of it in a mansion and in a Bugatti. That's not her fault. And that's not her problem. The point is she was being abused. She got broken and she had to make the best of her situation. I do not believe under any circumstances that she would have left sooner if he was broke. He took advantage of her. He manipulated her. He broke her down to the very last compound until she had to wave the white flag and say, I'm going to play your game. I'm going to play your game. Not to mention all of the filthy things that he's done to her and threatened her to put out her sex tape and stuff. It's very much giving Who Would Want Me once he puts all this information out here. Now it's easy for her to speak her truth because guess what? She's over it. Well, let me not say over it. It's easy for her to speak her truth because someone has come into her life that loves her, that respects her in spite of, gave her children, gave her his last name, supports her 1,000%. The only time a victim of abuse of any kind is comfortable to speak up is when they become comfortable with themselves. And guess what? Sometimes it takes years. It takes decades. It takes decades, right? So why now? Well, because 20 years ago, I wasn't comfortable with myself. Why now? Because 10 years ago, I still wasn't healed. Why now? Because 30 years ago, I had no idea what's going on. But guess what? When I tell my story, now in my healed state, I've made peace with what I've experienced. I've made peace with what happened to me. And I'm okay with whoever want to judge me, ridicule me, talk shit about me, because I am at peace. And so why now for Cassie is because she's at peace. She's at some level of peace in her life because she has the support that she needs. She has a support that any victim of domestic violence would need to speak. Because you've been silenced for the whole time you've been with this person. You've been shunned. You've been made to feel ashamed. You've been embarrassed. You've been manipulated. You've been all of these things. So you're not talking. You ain't saying nothing. You making the best of it. You acting like it's not as bad as it is. You're protecting them. You're doing all these things. You're so disassociated from reality. You don't even know what the fuck is going on. And when you finally come back down, and when your brain finally unswells, and you gain a little bit of yourself back, and you gain a little bit of clarity, and you start to heal, and those layers of negativity and darkness and them clouds start to move away from your life, and you start to see things for what they really are, and you start to heal, you could say, yo, I cannot believe that was my life. You're totally disassociated. You're literally looking back at your life and saying, I cannot believe I survived that. But then you have people around you, fortunately, hopefully, that will remind you of who you were before the situation, or they are there to remind you of who you can become in spite of the situation, right? So that's when you start to grow your wings and you start to build your strength, and you have people, or even if it's just one person, to say, I got your back. Go talk your shit. I got your back. In this case, that was Cassie's husband. And it took all these years. Take money out of the equation. Take celebrity out of the equation. When someone has been in an extremely vile relationship, it is embarrassing to hold yourself accountable. It is embarrassing to recount, yeah, he did this to me, he did that to me, or she. Whoever, it's embarrassing, and you gotta talk it, you gotta think it, you gotta relive it. Nobody wanna relive it. This is the second edition of this book. The first time I wrote it, I just was writing. I had a book deal, and I was like, this is my story. Fuck it, I write it. I'm gonna write it. This is for the people. This time around, I'm just like, girl, I gotta rewrite this thing. I gotta reread the traumas and the abuse that I experienced that you'll never forget. You will never, ever, ever forget. But to just, with trauma, it fucks up your memory. It really rewires your brain. This is what people don't understand. It really rewires your brain. So there were so many things that I forgot. And when I started going through this book to edit it and reread it and rewrite it and prepare it, I was like, oh, my heart broke for myself again. My heart broke, but in a different way, because all I could do is look back and see that young girl that just got took advantage of. That young girl that didn't have anybody to protect her. That young girl that had to literally peel herself up off the floor while grown men stood around and watched. That's what you had to deal with. That's what Cassie had to deal with. That's what a lot of women had to deal with. If you get beat down, these men, their friends don't hold them accountable, unfortunately. Unfortunately, the men don't hold their homeboys accountable. And so I know back in my day when I unfortunately had to experience domestic violence, men, they stood around. I remember one time my ex choked me till I passed out. My head bang, hit the concrete. I woke up someplace else because clearly I was passed out. He thought I was dead. He picked me up. He took me someplace. If I would have died, I believe he would have left me right there where I woke up at. But I remember just waking up like, what the hell happened? But there were men that just watched, and more gruesome things that have happened like that in public amongst his peers, and nobody did anything. Nobody did anything. The same thing happened with Cassie, and it's even worse that this man's a billionaire. He's paying their salary. He's putting food on their table. They're not going to bite the hand and feed them, unfortunately. You know what I mean? So, child, got in my feelings real quick, but I want to say it all boils down to, is it boils or ball? I don't know. Either way, it all goes down to trust as well. And it's not just about domestic violence. It's about the people you have in your life and how they make you feel when you go through anything, right? So if you have a friend or a family member or somebody that has not told you something, and then they tell you at a later date, and you're like, why you didn't tell me? Well, it's because they didn't trust you. And there's a reason why they didn't trust you. There's a reason why they didn't feel comfortable enough to tell you what they were going through. Now, back to me, when I was in this abusive relationship, I didn't get a chance to tell anybody because people found out, and I started to hear the things they were saying about me before I even got the opportunity to say, hey, this is what I'm going through, right? So I already heard I'm dumb, I'm stupid, she only staying with him because he got money, she only let him do this because he got money. I done heard it all, and I shut down. I was like, oh, okay, so I guess I'll just stay here and thug it out, right? And so for me, my trust level when it came to anybody to this day is very, I have people in my life because I gotta have people in my life. No man is an island. I don't want to be, I don't want to isolate myself and not have people around and just be out here looking crazy. Isolation is dangerous. I don't ever, it's a sickness. I don't want to be sick. I love people. I love love. I love good energy. But unfortunately, in my experiences in life, the people that I love the most betrayed me the most. So why now? Well, at a place in my life. You're at a place in your life. Cassie's at a place in her life where she trusts herself. Excuse me. She trusts herself. She's healed in some ways where she's comfortable to take whatever y'all got to say about her. I'm comfortable to hear whatever you got to say. You're comfortable to hear whatever people got to say. Your homegirl, your sister, whoever is experiencing this. Don't let nobody rush your healing, and don't let nobody rush you to be comfortable to talk about anything. When you listen, you may never be comfortable, and that's okay too. But baby, it could be 40, 50 years from now. You decide that in 1942, Paw was putting his hands on your ass, and you never talked about it. And you first want to talk about it with your grandbabies on your lap, and you want to pull out a bullhorn and tell your entire family what happened. How dare anyone say, why are you talking about it now? Who are you to tell people when they should talk about something so traumatic that has happened in their life? It's not about why now and why'd you let him do it. No, the question is, why did he do it? Stop questioning victims about why they let it happen. No, why is that man putting his hands on people? Why is that man beating on people? Why is this man verbally abusive? Why him? It ain't why us, it's why him. Why him? Not the victim, the abuser. Why him? Question them. Question them. Don't question us. Don't question your sister, your cousin, or your best friend. Don't do that. Because that is what's going to make them shut down. And unfortunately, in a lot of times, they stay with their abuser because Google Stockholm Syndrome and all the other things. And they say, you know what? I'm safer here because at least I know what I'm getting. At least I know what's going on. But you go out there to somebody that you're supposed to trust and somebody that you're hoping will give you a little bit of escapism. And they say, you stupid. Why you staying? Or why you there? Why you go back? Because they don't understand. They don't understand. So if you don't understand, stay quiet. Stay quiet. And support with your mouth closed. Support with your actions. But don't you dare come out your mouth and say, why now? Excuse you? Excuse you? Your barber done fucked up your hairline 1,000,000 times. You ain't leave him. Your homegirl done stabbed you in the back 1,000,000 times. You ain't stopped fucking with her. So why now? Why 20, 30 years later she ain't your bestie no more? Why now? Because you had enough. Because you're comfortable enough to leave now and disassociate yourself from that situation and talk about it when people ask you questions, right? Oh, that's what I thought. Okay, because I thought somebody that was out there perfect and ain't never let nobody play in their face say something. I thought there was some perfect people in here talking shit. Okay, all right. So, with all that being said, full circle, a very necessary story. It's unfortunately the everyday story for a lot of black women. You know what I'm saying? Our daughters, our little cousins, our sisters, our mothers, you, me. This story will never get old. This story will always be told because it's a part of my life. It's a part of your life. It's a part of everyday life, damn near, for somebody. And there's a happy ending because I'm here to talk about it. And I'm here to educate you on it. And hopefully you guys will continue to tune in. And we can really just talk about how to support a loved one that is going through it. How to support a loved one after they've come out of it. Because it takes time. You don't just leave an abusive relationship and it's over, because you leave physically, you leave emotionally, but then mentally there's something funky going on. So it might be a little back and forth, but you have the strength to keep leaving. You're not a hostage anymore. There's a thing. I don't really know what that is, and I don't know if I have to be a doctor to figure out, or a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist to know what that is. But I do know there is a game of back and forth. I've done it. And I think what happens is when there's a game of back and forth and you build up the courage, they lose their power. So they don't try to hold on to you as much as they used to, because they know you are not in a place. You're not going to stay for the bullshit. So I think it's maybe a little bit of role reversal mentally. Like, I'm going to show you that I don't that you ain't got the power over me no more. So watch me come over there and then leave. You know, something crazy like that. I'm sure. I know that's what I did. I did it. I ain't ashamed. And then you finally leave. You finally realize it's safe. A lot of women don't get the opportunity to feel safe. A lot of women get murdered when they leave. A lot of women, they really make it out fucked up. A lot of women go to prison. A lot of women get disabled. You know, they out here with a face full of acid. My God, they out here with broken limbs. They out here paralyzed. They out here just strung out. It's fucked up because a lot of these men are demons. And my heart goes out to anyone that have experienced any form of abuse. It ain't easy, but you are a hero. You are brave, and you are blessed to be here today to talk about it. So, with that being said, Full Circle, BuyAnnaEllis.com for a signed copy. Or if you don't care about my John Hancock, that's cool. You could just go on Amazon and you can get it. But either way, read it, pass it on to those who you think need it, leave a review. Let's talk about it. Let's not just talk about it because it's happening to a celebrity. Let's talk about it because it could be you. It could be someone you love. All right? Never say never. And I pray that never, ever comes. All right?